What is up? Welcome back to Don't Quote Us Sports. It is September 26th. And Herb, I heard you had something you wanted to bring up for discussion.
There's something that's been chapping my ass, and it's got nothing to do with sports, but all about legacy and where we're going to lead society in the future.
Tell me more. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Let's strap in.
Buckle up.
Because Toys R Us is allegedly back.
How so?
They're back. They're opening 10 new locations and 20 holiday pop-up shops.
So they're like Halloween Express for kids?
No. They are back. They're going to have 10 permanent buildings, one of which is going to be here in West Des Moines. But here's number one. That's a great question. I thought they went bankrupt. What happened? But two, here's where it hurts me. Okay, as somebody who grew up going to Toys R Us, were you a Toys R Us kid?
I don't know. I know I got toys.
Have you ever even been in a Toys R Us?
No, I'm from Minnesota. I used to go to Mall of America.
I guarantee they had a Toys R Us. I bet you they had the biggest fucking Toys R Us you'd ever seen.
Well, if they did, I was too preoccupied with Lego World.
I mean, the waste of youth in this country. But anyway, I grew up as a Toys R Us kid. Okay?
Actually, I do have one vivid memory of being in a Toys R Us. You want to hear this?
It was probably the best time of your life.
No, it was one of my dumbest moments of my life. And I was like a young kid, so I get some leeway here. But I think I was like 8. And I was absolutely obsessed with Pokemon cards at this point. Like,
naturally.
I collected them. And
yeah, you had to catch them all.
Yeah. Every time I saw a pack, I wanted them. And I don't know if I was looking for a specific card or something or what it was, but I believe it was a Toys R Us. And you know how they have they still probably do at some places, but like right up by the cash register, and they would have all the cards like in a little thing that you could like move around in a loop, in a circle.
Yeah.
So what I did while my mom was doing her shopping, I was opening packs of these cards, I must have been looking for a specific card that I didn't have or something, and I would open them up, look at the cards, and then I would just like put them, like hide them, like stick them back, like in between.
But we weren't paying for them.
No, my mom ended up having to pay for them because I opened multiple packs.
So you were shoplifting at the age of 8? Is that what you're telling me?
Technically, no.
We got him. We got him. Rush the house. We got him.
But continue. Why does these Toys R Us chap your ass? Because
I was a Toys R Us kid, and when they finally went under, a little piece of you dies, even as an adult. What I don't want is a generation of children who have to go through that pain again, or themselves. I don't want to see it happen. It can only be bad for society. You took it away once, you better never take it away again. But also, I am going to be within walking distance from a Toys R Us, so your boy might have to go in there and scope it out a little bit. See if Toys R Us is still Toys R Us, or if we got the whitewashed Cracker Barrel version of Toys R Us.
See, you brought that up, and I thought you were going to say we're going to have some issues because you were too close to it.
No, that's such an egregious thing to even insinuate. I am not, nor have I ever been, nor will I ever be on a registry and not allowed within a certain yardage of a Toys R Us, Isaiah.
Sorry, you give me a softball. I have to hit it.
No, that's
a really random place to start, though. I don't know why you're so.
I just it's going to hurt Okay, it's going to hurt a lot of people emotionally when they take it away again, because
Dude,
inevitably
I
they're going
promise
to
you,
take it
the
away.
kids aren't going to care about these Toys R Us. They're too preoccupied with trying to get their little boo-boos.
You don't think Toys R Us is going to be selling Labubus out the wazoo?
No, because you can't even get them online at this point. They're always sold out, I guess.
I, I, I bet you they get their hands on Labubus. If this is the Toys R Us of old, that will be the official retailer of Labubus. Even though I think it's like a
Also,
K-pop brand or something
Also,
like
if
that.
we have a fan out there that listens, that understands the hype behind Labubus and where the hell they came from, if you could jump into our DMs and explain that to me, because I don't know why there's a bunch of kids between the ages of 6 and 10 that are obsessed with these little dolls that
Do,
look like murderers.
do you want me to tell you? I know. Do we have time for this? Do you want to hear the lore of the Labubu?
How long is this going to take?
I don't have a lot of the details. I have a general idea. So here it is.
Okay, give me the 10,000 foot view.
I believe a Chinese-born guy, I believe he's Chinese, moves to the Netherlands, creates this I don't know if it's like a graphic novel or what about this group of characters, and one of them is Labubu. Okay, one of them is this little, or maybe they're all one character's named Labubu, but they're like these elves and they have 9 teeth, and that's what we're seeing is Labubu, that character. Anyway, that thing takes off. I'm fairly certain they make a television program. This guy gets all the rights to all the merch and everything. They start making toys. They partner with a toy company. And then one of these K-pop superstar girls, who I guess is the world record holder for most followed person on Instagram, gets some paparazzi photo that she posts, and she's wearing this Labubu keychain on her backpack or purse. From that moment, it exploded. Now we're here. Now we are in the era of Labubu. Okay? That's insane. By the way, Labubus are 10 years old.
Really?
This guy started doing it in 2015.
Man, talk about a slow burn, huh?
I guess. All it took was for one K-pop superstar to wear it as like a chain on her purse. And now I think the biggest one, it was a life-size one, sold for like $150,000 or something like that. It's like a 4-foot tall Labubu.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Labubu. We talk about the downfall of society. This may be it. Labubu may bring us to our knees as a society.
That's the final straw.
Can't do it. Can't do it. I don't own a Labubu. If you'd like one, I'll get you a fake one. All right, I'll send it to you for Christmas.
I'm good.
I'll get you one. I'll get you one, buddy. Don't worry.
I was with my wife and we had to go over to one of her former students' house to babysit. So we were talking with the mom for a couple minutes, and she was refreshing like the Labubu site to try and buy one that was like dropping at some time, and the site literally was crashing. Like she couldn't even get to it.
What is this? A Taylor Swift pre-sale?
I don't know, man. I was mind blown.
The Labubu will be forever an enigma, an anomaly, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if I can get on that trend. But if you want one, I'll get you one.
Thank you.
I'll get you one. I'll send you one. Look real nice. You can put on your gym bag.
Ooh, that could be a play.
Labubu. I think there is a term for like a faux Labubu. I don't know what it is, but like instead of calling it a Labubu, you know how we call fake leather pleather?
Yeah.
I think there is like that term.
Oh, so like a Labufu.
Is that what it is?
I don't know, but that would be a really good name for it.
We're going to look that up after this whole thing. We're going to figure this out. But Labubus, we're fucked. So
they're
yeah,
they're like the little gremlins going to take over the world.
I mean, they feel like the Furby did in the late 90s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, but hey, I appreciate you taking the time to listen to my nonsense there, because that needed to be said about Toys R Us. Don't break their hearts.
I'll always indulge you in your weird tangents.
Just listen. If you were a Toys R Us kid, you'd get it, but you weren't, so you don't. Okay.
My bad, man. My bad. But Herb,
Uh,
let's get into the sports.
Sports me the sports ball.
We might be preparing for the biggest weekend in sports
Mm-hmm.
of the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that not only do we have a great slate of NFL and college games with multiple top 25 matchups, a couple games of undefeated NFL teams taking place, but then you also got the Ryder Cup that we will get into a little bit here at the end of the episode. So, if you have any plans for Saturday specifically, I'm sorry because
Guess what I get to do
I,
all day? Guess what I get to do?
I'm going to go on a limb and say you're going to be grinding at work.
I'm gonna be at work, brother. I will do my best. I will watch as many recaps and full replays, which yes, I do, to maintain some integrity on this pod coming out of my end. But I'm pissed because this is going to be an awesome slate. This is going to be such a fun weekend. Please enjoy it for me, Isaiah. Please.
I don't have enough TVs, I've come to realize, to fully maximize my viewing experience for this.
How many quad boxes do you need?
I feel like you actually need quite a few this weekend, at least on Saturday.
You could probably use 4 TVs in the quad and be very comfortable watching those games.
Man, I just wish I had that at my house rather than having to go to a bar to do that.
Just get more TVs.
Just what I need.
Yeah. Hey, that credit limit is high for a reason. You use it, big boy.
Use it, big boy. But yeah, I say let's start with the NFL, since that is what everybody cares most about. And the biggest news coming out of the NFL this week is it has finally happened. Jaxson Dart has officially been named the starter for the New York Football Giants, replacing Russell Wilson after a complete dud of a game Sunday night against the Chiefs, making 2 duds in 3 weeks. And lucky for Jaxson Dart, he gets to go in and face a top 5 defense in the LA Chargers, who come into the game 3-0.
Real casual.
Lucky for the kid, but I guess the first question here, Herb, is this the right move? You think this is too quick? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? Initial thoughts, feelings, emotion?
I like Jaxson Dart. I liked Jaxson Dart going into the draft. I've been a firm believer that if you can sit a guy for a year, you're better off for it. I don't care how high you take him, unless it's the number 1, sit him. They have what I believe to be 2 capable veteran quarterbacks. Russ, I don't know what has happened. I feel like Jameis probably should have gotten the nod first to try to protect Jaxson Dart. I'm worried that it's going to be a similar situation to the 2018 Jets with Sam Darnold, where maybe Darnold wasn't ready. Then again, they were different and they only had, I think it was Josh or Luke McCowan as the backup. But Sam Darnold ends up with a 46 QBR that year, 17 touchdowns, 15 picks. Jets go 4-12, and Todd Bowles loses his job. That just sounds so familiar right now to what we're talking about. You've got a young quarterback. The team is in shambles. You've got a head coach who is coaching for his life right now, and a team that looks bad. So it's just it feels too soon. I feel like at least see what Jameis can do. And if you're not going to hold on to Jameis, then trade him. Get the value. There's teams that want him now. But It feels too soon. I'm worried about it, especially behind that O-line. No run game.
Yeah, but let's be honest. It was a move that we knew was coming. We had talked about it previously, but Brian Dable and Joe Schoen, their days are numbered at this point, and their last chance of potentially keeping their jobs is to put in the kid that they are so high on. They traded back into the first round to go and get. If they're going down with their guy. And
But
I don't know if I disagree with them, but
what a shitty spot for Jaxson Dart as a football player, as a young quarterback to be. None of this is his fault. And it's again a damnation on the fucking GM up there, the dumbass that opened his mouth during Hard Knocks about Saquon. That's what this is all about. He should have been fired after that. We both said it. But you are putting Jaxson Dart in an impossible position if he isn't successful, and none of it's his fault. And he will go down like a sinking ship with the sinking ship that is the New York Giants. That's my real concern, is that they don't have the receiver health right now with Neighbors maybe being out. They don't have the O-line. They don't have the run game, even though I like what Scadabo is doing. He's not an every down guy. Oh, boy. They agree with the pick. I get it. This sucks for Jaxson Dart if it doesn't work out in his favor. Like, it's really going to be bad.
I mean, lucky for him, at least it sounds like Andrew Thomas will be playing in this game, first game of the year. So that will help ever so slightly. But, man, it's hard based off what we saw in the preseason. And I know that there will be people that are like, oh, it was second strings, it was third stringers, blah, 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 not that impressive. You can't sit there and pretend like what he did in the preseason was not impressive and does not make you curious of what he might be capable of.
And I don't disagree. Like, I don't think Jaxson is a bad quarterback. So I certainly think this could work out. And maybe he does go out there and ball, and I hope he does. He's good, dude. I agree with you. I'm just worried and nervous. Nothing scares me more than a coach coaching for his life.
Also, I've never known like how much stock to truly put into that saying of like rushing a quarterback in too quickly and it stunts their growth. I feel like you either are going to be a good quarterback or you're not going to be a good quarterback, no matter when you get that start.
I don't know. I mean, guys like Geno, guys like Sam Darnold now have kind of started to prove that that's not necessarily true, that you can be stunted and find your way back.
Is it stunted or just being in a bad offensive scheme with bad weapons around you?
Oh, I think there's no doubt that what happened in New York with the Jets and Sam Darnold absolutely stunted his development as a quarterback, and that's why it took till, year 8 in the league, year 7 in the league, to actually do something. I don't want that for Dart. We'll see.
All I know is it will make it very interesting because I don't remember if you remember this from like right after he got drafted. He talked with Eli. Obviously, Eli reached out to him and gave him his number. They exchanged numbers and whatnot. And Eli said, "If you ever need anything,
I did hear
make
this.
sure to text, reach out, call me, whatever." And then what does Jaxson Dart do? He goes and calls him. Not to talk about football, not to get his insight on anything X's and O's. It's to help him get a reservation at one of the most upscale restaurants in New York City.
He said if you need anything, call.
So that is either going to turn into one of the absolute biggest baller moves of all time in a couple of years, or we're going to look back and be like, yep, that was the red flag that should have told us what we were getting into.
Yeah, it's like the Jamarcus Russell never watched the game tape. That it would end up being one of those type of stories. I hope it's not. Not, hey, you want to come by? Like, if you're in town, watch some film at the facility or something. Just walk me through some things that you see. Now, hey, I got this little honey, and she likes porterhouse steak. So, want to hook a brother up?
Yeah, all I know is that backfield is about to be electric between the swagger between him and Scatabo in the backfield. I'll say I've said it once. I'll say it again. White boys might be back.
God forbid a white boy get a little motion. That's all. It's got I think it is going to be fun to watch because those dudes both play. I think they just play hard and they just want to go out there and win. So, at the very least, I think it's going to be entertaining.
And on the flip side of this conversation, is Russ done? It feels like one of those guys that doesn't know when to let go. It feels like we need to take him out to the pasture and take care of this.
Oh, you're going to tell him about the bunnies on the farm? You're sick. You're going to of mice and men him?
I'm sorry, but otherwise he's going to just keep going out there, and it's just going to feel like taint his legacy a touch.
I feel like that legacy's probably already tainted. I think if you ask the modern, everyday NFL fan, oh, yeah, he was on the Seahawks, wasn't he? Like, I think we're at that point for some of the more casual folks. I don't blame him. Like, I get you want to milk every last play out of your entire career. Some of this is on NFL teams for still giving him opportunities. Like the Bengals, I guess, are very much interested in the possibility of bringing Russ in. Oh, is he going to play better than Browning at this point? I don't think so. So, stop giving him chances. Let him just be done.
I just feel like the variance you would get with Browning is like smaller than what you get with Russ at this point. Russ trots out there, and we've seen it, the Jekyll and Hyde just from him this season. He had 2 just absolutely disastrous games, and then one where it was throwback Russell Wilson had almost 500 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, what?
Yeah, it's very much boom or bust. You know what's going to – here's what's going to happen. Mark this, because when in 4 weeks from now, when we look back on this, I'm calling this right now. Dart starts 2 to 3 games, loses them. They go to Jameis for 1. That's even uglier. They go back to Russ, and then we flip-flop between Russ and Jaxson Dart the rest of the year. Watch.
I think at this point, it's just going to be Jaxson Dart is the starter unless he gets injured. Yeah. Like I said, sinking ship, they're going down with it.
Let's hope the best for Mr. Dart. Again, I liked him going into the draft. I think there is something there, like you said, in the offseason. Let's hope the best.
Well, if he follows Neighbor's advice, he should be okay. Because you know what Neighbor said, right?
Just throw the ball to me, man.
Just give me the ball.
Just throw the ball to me. That's all I need.
In other NFL news, Herb, I'm going to turn this one over to you because this impacts you a whole lot more than it impacts me. But we just got done talking about it last episode. But Brian Callahan has finally made the move to give up offensive play calling. He has handed that over to Bo Hardigree, who is actually the QB coach. I don't know if you can provide any context on this as to why the QB coach was given the play calling rather than the offensive coordinator. That seemed a little odd. But again, initial reactions here.
Something had to give. We talked about that last week. Like I said, I wasn't ready to fire Callahan last week. This is a move that keeps you in your job for a little while longer. It at least gives a scapegoat, right? The move to quarterback coach versus offensive coordinator. I've always been a firm believer that your offensive coordinator should be your quarterback coach. That's just a me thing. I'm hoping that decision was made either in conjunction or with Cam in mind, What do you want? Who do you want doing it? Because I guarantee all these guys have called plays at practice at some point in time. So going to Cam and saying, who do you want? Who do you want in the headset? Maybe that's what it is. I have no verification, no solid concrete to back that up. But this, some people are celebrating. This didn't feel like a good thing. You know what I mean?
No, it never is when you're having to make a change like this 3 weeks into a season.
No, it feels like the signaling of, God, I don't want to say like the end of this season by any means. It's too early, but it's not trending the right way.
The real question is, does the scheme, the scheme's not going to change a whole lot. Like, that's the thing I don't really understand about these, like, in-season moves like this. It's not like Bo Hardigree can come in here now and implement a whole new offense, like his type of ideal offense. Like, it's still essentially going to be Callahan's offense that he installed.
Correct, but
he's just going to go about play calling different.
The timing of the play calling. Hardigree, hopefully, he's not going to be calling a screen on 2nd and 8 on the 2-yard line. On our own 2-yard line. Like that type of shit. I'm hoping that it eliminates that stupidity. Or running a draw on 3rd and 9 when you absolutely have to have it in a have-to-have-it possession. Why? So hopefully that eliminates that. And maybe Callahan's just not – he's great at scheme. He's just bad at timing. So, I mean, if they go out there and win, which granted we're playing Houston, so we have a chance, all of a sudden this is a genius move by Callahan.
Well, he does at least have history on his side. I did some research. The last time he was in this position was he actually got named the interim offensive coordinator for Las Vegas in 2023. They finished 5-4. That was Aiden O'Connell's rookie season, and that was probably the best Aiden O'Connell has ever looked in the NFL. He might not play another snap in the NFL, actually. I don't even know if he's on the Raiders still.
No, he's not.
In the 9 games that he did play with Hardigree as his offensive coordinator, he had over 1,900 passing yards, which was second among rookies in that time frame, 11 touchdowns, and a passer rating of 83.9, which, for context, would place him in today's NFL right now around, I believe, just came a lot lower than I thought. It would put him about the 20th in the Dak Prescott, Geno Smith, Patrick Mahomes category.
Hey, look out now. Look out now.
For reference, Jim Ward has a passer rating of 71 right now.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a start.
It has to look better, right? But at the end of the day, though, does this change that Calvin Ridley has bricks for hands right now? Does it change the fact that Tyler Lockett is not involved in our offense? Does it change the fact that we can't run the ball currently? I don't think it does.
No.
And then we're trading guys away at Aldi brand prices. Did you hear about our trade?
I saw people were up in arms about it.
So we send a corner who's playing significant time starting games for us when Snead can't go in Brownlee Jr. We send him in next year's 7th rounder to, who do we even send it to?
Jets.
Can't remember. The Jets, thank you, for a 6th round pick next year. So we send a 7th rounder and a guy who is playing significant time for us to move up 1 round. Sick.
And it was a dude that you had drafted in the 5th round too. You had found a gem.
Yeah, and I was a big fan of him and McCreary. I thought we were continuing to come along, and you're going to have to make a decision on one of them. But Callahan came out and said, like, this is not the signal of a fire sale. It sure feels like one. Sure feels like the first move of it, and then this offensive or play calling situation. As a fan, I don't know what to think right now. I'm a little confused. I'm kind of scared. And yet there is a tiny bit of optimism in the back of my head.
I mean, that's all you can do as an NFL fan. Just hope for the best, even when things are definitely not going your way. But I'll put it this way. I am really glad I'm not the one that has to spend my Sundays having to watch the Tennessee Titans.
That was more mean than you thought it was. that hurt way deeper. That was a deep cut. The first cut is the deepest. That's where I'm at right now. All right, that was a dig. I understand
I'm
it.
sorry,
that was a dig.
We sit there and we slave how many hours every week at a job that we don't care for to look forward to football on Sunday and the team that we live and die for, and you're stuck there watching the dog shit Tennessee Titans with a fucking skeleton Tyler Lockett, Calvin Ridley, who doesn't even look like he wants to play
pump
football
your
anymore.
brakes a little bit. All right, listen, I can say this shit. You can't say this shit. All right.
Why does everybody get so mad when I am just critical of things that are true?
Calling them dog shit. I mean, they're not the Saints right now.
I mean, even the Saints have put up a little bit of fight.
The Titans were in a one-score game week 1
against the Broncos, who may not be good.
The Broncos are going to be fine.
We don't know that. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
You leave my Titans alone. You let us be. We're down. You don't have to kick us while we're down.
Hey, maybe we have to start something at the start of every episode or before we start talking football. We just have to say one nice thing about each other's teams, even if we don't mean them.
Yeah, that shade of purple isn't the worst shade of purple in sports. See? Very nice.
Hey, I promise you it's not that embarrassing when the opposing team is constantly using your quarterback celebration against him every game.
You know, mine was that again a dig. That's wow.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I just remember vividly watching the Red Zone games this weekend, and it felt like every time it went to the Colts-Titans game, it was a Colts player just doing Cam Ward's celebration after a play.
You're not really wrong. You're not really wrong on that matter, but you didn't need to say it out loud. I knew, okay? And a real friend wouldn't take that shot.
I'm sorry.
Unbelievable. You let us be. You let us wallow in agony.
Good thing I have 15 more, or I guess it would be 14 more weeks after this to get better compliments.
Hey, when Cam Ward is Himothy and he's out there balling and he's out there cutting them up, I'll remember this moment. The listeners won't forget either.
Good. Bookmark it. I didn't even say Cam Ward's going to be bad. I just said the Titans are dog shit.
Book it.
Other NFL news, I just had to throw this out there because it came across my timeline, and I've had a bunch of friends talk about it. You want to take a stab at what Kevin O'Connell's record with ginger quarterbacks is?
This is, folks, buckle in. This is what we call around here advanced analytics. Advanced analytics, okay? First of all, can we name which ginger quarterbacks we're talking about here?
Well, could we just name them in general?
Like
the only four
who are they?
The only four I know of are Andy Dalton, Carson Wentz, Sam Darnold, and no, just those three.
And he's okay. What's his record with a redhead under center?
It is a shocking 15-3 after last week's drubbing
Who
of
took the
uh,
Who took the time?
Bengals.
Who took the time? Which one of you weirdos out there took the time to break that down?
I mean, in fairness, it wasn't too difficult considering Sam Darnold played every game last season, and then you just added last week's game to that record.
Oh, okay, fair. I thought we were going to be pulling stuff out from like 10 years ago. I thought we were going to be talking about some weird, like that makes sense then, yeah. But like I thought you were going to be pulling out like, yeah, he had Johnny Smith. He was his quarterback's coach or offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay 15 years ago or something.
No.
That what a statistic! Advanced analytics, folks. That's what that is.
And then to round out the NFL news, R.I.P. to Najee Harris. He officially tore his Achilles. So the year of the Achilles continues in all of professional sports. Can't escape it. And out goes the window to a majority of that contract that he signed this offseason because I believe a Jesus. God.
Language. Watch your profanity.
A majority of his incentives were tied to very attainable statistics, and now he has no shot of reaching those. So, sorry to Najee Harris.
Feels like the end, right? Or maybe a Nick Chubb like situation where it's just constant.
Yeah, it kind of. Yeah. The last running back, or the only other running back I can think of that's torn his Achilles, was Cam Akers. Obviously, Najee Harris, I can say, had a much better career up until the injury, but Cam Akers has just bounced around from team to team after that. So it doesn't look great for him, especially. But though I will say the one thing that does benefit him, it's not like he's a super explosive running back by any means. So
yeah,
he might be able to.
I just looked it up. Guys like J.K. Dobbins have done this, who's a very similar running back. All the way back, James Robinson. You remember that name? Out of Illinois State, ran for the Jaguars, tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
This is if you're running, like actually died.
No, I'm saying his career died though after that.
Oh yeah. So what I'm saying is like, as a running back, after your first contract, then you tear your Achilles. It is a death sentence. If you do come back, you're just going to bounce around. So that sucks, man. You remember how fun he was? You remember how explosive? Watching him run in Pittsburgh was so much fun. What do you have? Watching when he was running
seasons, dude. He was a Kyron Williams type. It was just extremely inefficient volume carries. You ask any Pittsburgh fan, they'd say the same thing. They were not all that upset about letting him walk in free agency.
No, and I know that. They made that very clear. And apparently they were right. So. Apparently they were correct.
But other NFL news, this came across very recently, was we have some quarterback beef out there. Cam Newton was out there taking shots at Tua, turn the ball over recently.
Is Cam still mounting an NFL comeback?
I don't believe he's mounting an NFL comeback anymore.
Well, I'd hope not. You try to think. When I think about Cam Newton, I respect his takes, but sometimes I find that they're unnecessary. Like, does anyone really need to be taking shots at Tua right now? And okay, if Tua's not the guy, who is? Cam? Like, who would you put in? So again, I respect it. He's an MVP. He was an absolute college legend. Played very well in the NFL. So I'll give him his flowers. But Cam, like, he knows how bad it is right now. Everybody in Miami knows how bad it is right now. I thought you meant like we were gonna like we had an old school rivalry going again in the NFL between some of these quarterbacks.
Yeah, the context here was Noon said, and I quote, Tua is making more than Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, Jaden Daniels. Am I pocket watching? No. I'm putting things into perspective here. In this case, it should be more money, more expectations. When I see Tua over this year alone, I've heard him more than I ever have. That's not to say you can't talk. I like quiet Tua, Alabama Tua, chip on your shoulder Tua. Not, is somebody going to come in and watch film? What you're being paid, what you're asked to do, what you have the capability of from one quarterback to another. I look at the situation like, come on, dog. Especially when you've got a Ferrari and Lamborghini and other amenities that other quarterbacks wish they had. To which Tua replied back with, well, anybody can play quarterback in this league then. I want to see anybody on the streets come and play quarterback. Cam is doing his thing for sure, but I think it's easier to be able to hold a clicker and talk about it that way, or talk about what someone else is doing wrong when you're not going out and having to do it the same as them.
So we're doing this on Twitter. Is that what this is?
I believe Cam did his. He's on TV now. He did his on First Take.
And Tua put it out on Twitter?
And then, no, Tua responded during one of his post-practice press conference.
Gotcha. Tua just focus on football. I listen, hearing it in full context, yeah, Cam absolutely has a point there. He absolutely does have a point. It's just not the reality of the situation in Miami. I think you would agree. I would absolutely agree that Tua has to play better. I just don't know that if he can. I do. Bring back Bama Tua. Where'd that guy go?
I mean, I don't know if I can't be upset with what Cam's saying. Like, what you said is factual, right? And I also believe as a professional athlete who is making the amount of money that Tua is, you need to be able to speak as to why you're struggling. Like, to make it seem like you just get the benefit of the doubt and nobody's going to ask hard questions when you're playing this poorly and your team is struggling as much as they are. That's not realistic. The NFL is a dog-eat-dog world, and you are going to have to answer for your play.
It does feel like the Dolphins are hiding something, doesn't it?
I don't know what's going on with the Dolphins. I wish I don't know. I don't know how to describe them.
I feel like that's how a lot of people, including Dolphins fans, feel right now. That exact. Oh, fuck.
It went from fuck it, Tyreek's down there somewhere, to fuck it, Asian's at the line of scrimmage somewhere.
Yeah, man. If they continue to fall, at what point do you make a major change either at quarterback or at head coach?
It will be at head coach first, but I don't know. Tua's contract is not going to be looking too pretty here in a season or two. I didn't agree with it when he got it. I would hate to have it now. Let's put it that way. But Mike McDaniel, let me pitch the idea. Offensive coordinator? Houston, perhaps?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Ooh. I kind of like that. That's a little spicy. Houston needs it, don't they? I mean, I don't love it as a Titans fan, but I like it as an overall. I could get behind it.
Pretty interesting, but I think we can officially say Mike McDaniel, better coordinator than head coach.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or, hey, come to Tennessee and ball out with a young man named Cam Ward. Why don't you come on over?
I just don't get how you can sell to a professional athlete making millions of dollars to ride for this fucking dude. Like,
But
come on.
he wears joggers and he shows his ankles and he vapes on the sideline. I mean,
He lets him play ping pong in the locker room. Like, he's a pretty chill dude.
yeah, I think he's trying to be McVay, but even McVay has a little bit of a stern hand to him.
I would be shocked if he's ever raised his voice. And then one of the linemen would probably be like, shut up, bitch.
I don't think that's happening because technically that guy is the boss. I don't know that anybody's calling him. I mean, I don't know if you call your bitch or your boss a bitch to their face, but I don't know that would go so well.
I don't know. I did scream at my boss when I was in the office yesterday as he was walking out of his office. Boy, do I got some shit to say to you. So everybody could hear.
You said you were an overachiever last time we talked about work. What happened between then and now? That's not overachiever mentality.
It was in context. The reason I said that was because he's a Steelers fan, and obviously I'm a Vikings fan, and they happened to play on Sunday.
So you made a scene in the office to talk shit about ball.
Yeah, so then I had to explain to all my other coworkers that heard me say that and explain why I just said that.
It sounds like Isaiah will see you in HR's office at 2 p.m. on Friday. Bring your playbook to the coach's office.
Honestly, don't care. Don't care at all. You don't know this about corporate America? It's a lot harder to get fired than you think.
Hey, I told you I don't work in corporate America, brother. That's your department, not mine.
That's why I'm helping you out. But Herb, do you want to talk about what is probably, correct me if I'm wrong, but probably game of the week?
I think we both hope it is.
And the game that I am talking about is the 3-0 Philadelphia Eagles going down to Tampa Bay to take on the 3-0 Buccaneers. Both teams have taken, I would say, very different approaches to getting to that 3-0 record. But yet here we are. We're talking about potentially two of the best teams in the NFC come the end of the season. Eagles come into this game favored, -3.5. Over-under is set at 44.5. And one thing for the people to know is the heat for this game is supposedly going to be unbearable on the field. I was going to look that up while I let Herb give me his initial thoughts about that.
Yeah, if it is that hot in Tampa Bay, it's going to be an interesting game because those boys from Tampa are used to it. The boys from Philly, I don't know if they quite are, but no, this game I think is the NFC Championship preview. If we're lucky, if everything goes according to plan. I took the Buccaneers to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. You may remember. I still think that's holding to be true. Baker is a baller. This is an injury bowl, though, if I'm not mistaken, right? I mean, we're talking about major players on both sides who are going to be out. So I think it's going to be the time to shine for some of these younger dudes. I think we're going to see where the meat of these teams are at early in the season because you're going to be relying on your 2 and 3 guys come December and January. So if they got to play here in September, October, whatever, it's still going to be September. I think that's a good thing. I think it's a real good thing. This is going to be fun, dude. I think the offenses are going to shine. The over looks real pretty.
So, to confirm what I had said about the weather, it is looking like it is going to be about 103. It's going to feel like 103 at kickoff of that game. So, Herb, you would probably know how to answer this better than I ever could, but how much does that truly impact linemen, specifically players in general? I know there's going to be a lot more cramping throughout this game, I'm sure of, But I'm sure with an NFL team, they take plenty of, um, like they have plenty of safeguards to combat this
Yeah,
type of weather, right?
the old adage is the day before the day before. That's when your hydration matters. Listen, these guys are pros. They understand how to maintain their body and how to go out there and perform. But that humidity and that heat are going to play a factor. And what I mean by that is Saquon's not going to be your every down back. You're going to have to mix in some of the backups. Rashad White and Bucky Irving are both going to have to play. Like plain and simple, they're going to get split carries because you can't have a guy go out there and have 30, 40 carries in a game. It'd be insane. You're asking for an injury. So sports bettors, fantasy owners, like be aware of that. Like the backup running backs, the 3 and 4 wide receivers are going to play in this game. So, dude, there's the worst part, like from a player standpoint, is like going out, warming up, going through the whole process, and you're just wet. You're just sweating. It's muggy. You're just, and now I got to go back in and put on pads, and you're just like, fuck. So a lot of guys I knew would shower in between warm up and game just to feel a little more fresh going into kickoff.
Interesting.
I was a gutted out kind of guy myself.
So is there like something like when it's hot out, like when it's cold, like there's you guys put like linemen will put
Tiger
what
balm,
is that
baby.
shit on your
Tiger balm.
yeah, tiger balm to keep yourself warm. Is there something like opposite of that, like when it's too hot?
No, I had heard, guys. The guys that we played against in Jacksonville, I had heard had wore like cooling vests at practice, but never in a game. So like a big ice pack that you wore as a vest. I've never worn anything like that, dude. When it's hot, it's just get your electrolytes. You're eating those energy gel, electrolyte things or the goo pouches. Nowadays, we didn't have that. When we were cramping back in my day, you know what they handed us? A bottle of yellow mustard.
An orange.
And you bottle of yellow mustard and a banana, and you just yellow mustard into the mouth. I don't know why,
Isn't
but
pickle
like,
juice supposed to be good for cramping too?
yeah. So I think my senior year, I think we had a bottle of it behind the bench. Don't confirm on that, but I'm fairly certain we did. But usually it was either a bottle of Heinz yellow mustard or like the little packs that you get at the concession stand, and you just sit there and be ripping yellow mustard on the sideline. The worst of it was being a fat guy and you got a little yellow mustard on your white pants, and now you look like a real fat piece of shit who was eating hot dogs on the sideline going out for the next series. That's a bad look. That's a bad look.
Good thing there's all of 100 people watching your game. So
hey, easy now. Easy now. We were in 4 figures.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, watch your mouth.
But
okay.
to touch on your point about the injuries earlier, that is going to be a key thing to watch leading up to this game. The injury reports have been constantly changing each day. So I can't confidently say, outside of a couple people, who is officially not going to be playing or playing in this game. They've kind of flip-flop between limited and non-participating. But from the Philadelphia side, both linebackers, Zach Bond and Jahad Campbell, showed up on the injury report. Lane Johnson was also on there as well. I believe he will play, but he was limited. Dory Jackson also on there. And then from a Tampa Bay side, you have Levante David, your leader on defense. Mike Evans is for sure out. He's going to be out for 2 to 3 weeks with, I want to say it was
hamstring,
a lower body injury.
Hamstring.
There. Yeah, hamstring. Chris Godwin, I expect to play this game, although I don't believe we will have a true answer to that one until Sunday. But it does seem like he is on track to play this week. Tristan Wirfs, I have not seen anything definitive about it, but both him and Godwin have been practicing as of last week. So it's more likely than it has been at any other point thus far in the season.
And let me say this real quick. I feel like this is just about whichever team's going to get healthier quicker. Whichever team's going to get healthier by Sunday at kick. So if Wirfs is going to play, I think Levante or Godwin is going to play. Evans, by the way, this is his 7th straight season with a hamstring injury. So while I think this guy's all world, like keep that in mind in the story of Mike Evans.
Sorry, one more injury I forgot to mention. Nolan Smith is also just got put onto injured reserve with a triceps injury. That's also a big one.
Yeah, I mean it's about getting healthy.
Of context of Mike Evans' career, that is a good point. It also definitely puts his 1,000-yard streak in major jeopardy.
Yes, it does.
There was already way too many mouths to feed on that offense, and now you're injured for 3 weeks. And they're probably not going to rush him back either because they're playing the end game here. They're looking for Super Bowl, and I'm sure Mike Evans feels the same way. He would trade a 1,000-yard season for another Super Bowl any day. So,
yeah, no doubt.
But let's see, other things related to this game. Oh, one interesting news from this game. Guess who's back in Tampa Bay just in time to take on the notorious tush pushers?
Like on the team?
Yeah.
They didn't bring old Bigums back from Florida, did they?
Oh, yeah. Desmond Watson was signed.
There's no way. He's not. Is he on the active?
I was just going to go look that up. But
I don't
very
even know
interesting timing, isn't it?
I don't even know if he could stop what's happening. Although, I mean, it can't hurt. There's no way he's on the active. There's no way he lost another 40 pounds like they want him to.
They signed him to the practice squad, but okay. Buccaneers not activating the rookie for week 4.
Listen, I can get behind the idea, right? But that kid is nowhere near football shape. And again, I don't know how much of a difference.
I mean, if you're throwing them in though for 5-6 plays, however many times they run the tush push, it's not that often every single game. He should be able to handle that. I'm saying this because I'm more curious. I'm more curious as to what that would look like how just having a ginormous fucking human being at nose tackle changes the dynamic of that play.
You almost have to just tell him to get in a 4-point and then just fall onto his face and just get in just bear crawl forward and then have a linebacker jump over the top. That's because it's not like he's going to penetrate through. He's just going to take up blockers. But again, the way they run that tush push, he's going to have 2 guys on a minimum. So I just don't know the impact that it truly would make.
Wouldn't that be a good thing? Doesn't that clear up a gap for somebody else?
Potentially. It's just the way that they run that. You'd have to have 2 guys flying through the air over the center and Desmond Watson just taking up 5 yards of space up the middle. It would be it would be fun to watch. It would be fun to watch.
I think we have seen, though, that way of going about the tush push is not the most beneficial way. Like jumping over the pile just doesn't seem to work.
Which I don't get because all Jalen does is turn around and lay on his center. You know what I mean? So, shouldn't you just be able to dive through the air and take his head off?
You would think.
Yeah. Watch. The NFC title game is going to come down to these 2 teams. 4th and 1. Eagles got to have it. Tush push coming. Everybody knows. And here comes on the active roster, big boy Watson jogging in to break this thing up to send the Bucs to the Super Bowl. It's poetic. It's a story. Book it now.
Little foreshadowing on the pod here.
I'm just calling it how my imagination sees it.
But the piece that I am going to be most curious about in this game is whether or not the second half last week from Philadelphia's offense is real or not. Because they finally started to put it together, looking like the offense of old that we had come to expect over the last couple of seasons. But at halftime, I was panicked. I told you the stat Sunday when we recorded. I think they had 33 total yards of offense, and that included -1 passing yard. So I was definitely panicked. I would have been panicked if I was an Eagles fan, but it looked like the tide might have turned a little bit.
So last thing I want to say about this game was Mike Allstott did an interview with Greg Olson. Did you happen to catch any of that?
About somebody wearing the number 40?
Did you see who he said could and the only guy that could?
No.
Baker.
Oh! Ugh!
I mean, it would be ugly, but that is the only guy on the roster that Mike Allstott was like, yeah, absolutely Baker.
That I respect it. By all means. I also didn't know number 40 was so forbidden in Tampa Bay after Mr. Allstott came through.
Mike Allstott might be the greatest Buck to ever do it.
I believe there was a guy by the name of Warren Sapp that played.
I know.
And Warren Sapp easily is a better football player. There's also a guy by the name of Rondy Barber, also pretty good.
Yeah, no, Derek Brooks, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I was going to say him.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. Give me Mike Allstott, baby.
Okay. I sense a little bias here, so I can't respect it.
I would advise you to go ahead and go back in the NFL Films archive and you watch a Mike Allstott film.
Oh,
your jaw will hit the
I'm not
floor.
saying he has super fun highlights, but in the grand scheme of best Bucks players of all time,
he's way up there.
Top 5, he's closer to 5 than he is to 1.
Way up there.
If we're talking straight aura, he would be number 1.
He's up there in every category for me. He might be the ultimate Buck. We don't know. Hey, let us know. Somebody tweet at us. We might have to put a poll out on Sunday about this.
Yeah.
See? They agree.
My wife leaves to babysit for 1 episode, and they so much as hear a fly outside, and they lose their ever-loving mind, brother.
Yep. Perks of having dogs. But hey, go Bucks. This is going to be a fun game. I'm calling it the NFC Championship preview.
Okay, let's wrap up NFL with our picks of the week. Herb, tough week last week.
Yeah, the hot hand went cold, didn't it?
Very cold. Both of us are going to need to step it up this week.
Yep.
I went 2-2 last week, bringing my record to 3-5. Herb, you went 0-4 last week, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So now we are officially tied. So that didn't take long. So
I'm going to get you this week. This is my week. This is a comeback week. Locked in.
So let's start it off hot with your favorite spread of the week.
Go back to the game we just talked about. Buccaneers plus 3.5. Love it. I think the Buccaneers are winning this thing. So 3.5, easy money for me.
Okay. I am going to go with the Chargers minus 6.5. I believe Mr. Dart out there is going to have a rough go his first game.
All right. Okay.
Plus,
that's a safe bet.
Plus, I really just like the Chargers' offense at this point. Especially, I think their running game is finally going to get going this week against the Giants' defense. And you've already seen what that passing attack can do. They got a 3-headed monster out there. So, yeah, I think they might win by 2 touchdowns minimum here.
We will see.
Moving over to over-under of the week that you love?
Love this one because it's two veteran quarterbacks going to be going at it. Both offenses are figuring it out or have figured it out. And that's the Vikings Steelers, 40.5. Love that over. We get 2 touchdowns out of both quarterbacks, which I think is very, very likely. Be sitting pretty on that one.
I don't know. Brian Flores had Aaron Rodgers in a torture chamber last year in London. Better hope that doesn't carry on.
Listen, Aaron Rodgers is the oldest quarterback playing right now, okay? It's not some young pup that Brian Flores likes to go after, all right? Dealing with a wily vet back there. A gunslinger, some say.
Did you just miss the part where I said that Brian Flores had him in a torture chamber last year?
Yeah, and it's not happening this year.
Aaron Rodgers
He's also
three picks last year in that game.
Well, listen, your defense is going to have to step up again. Can Isaiah Rodgers do it twice?
You also have to remember, an older body like Aaron Rodgers, his body can't recover on a long flight like this in time. You know, like, he's going to be so jet lagged, you know. I don't know if he's going to be able to even wake up for this game.
Listen, this is Aaron Rodgers, okay? You'd have wet your little panties if the Vikings would have got him this offseason, okay?
No, you don't know me well enough as a Vikings fan. Ask anybody.
No, you made it very, very clear when we were talking about that preseason.
I would have rather ate a shit sandwich than have Aaron Rodgers be my quarterback this season.
That can be arranged.
I'm going to go back to your original game. Eagles-Bucks, over 44.5. I think the Heat will have an impact, and I hope it's primarily on the defensive side. And there's just a bunch of big plays come second half. They just wear down by then.
I could see it. I like that. I like mine more.
Yeah, we'll see. But give me your player prop.
We're heading to Detroit, baby. Jahmyr Gibbs. Here he comes. Look out. That two-headed monster back there. Give me Jahmyr Gibbs over 94.5 combined receiving and rushing yards. That feels free.
That's a bold play there. You want to know why? We look at Cleveland and we just think bad team, but we have to remember that they have I would argue a top 3 defense at this very moment. They have, outside of the Ravens, who kind of had their number, their other 2 games against the Packers and the Bengals, who we both predicted would be pretty good offensive teams, they held them to a combined 27 points.
We're going to find out in this game. I would like to see the statistics that suggest the Browns are top 3 defenses. I just haven't seen it. Wow. Yeah, wow. No, I'm going to give me Jahmyr. Jahmyr is – I hope he eats them alive.
And it's not that I am I'm a Jahmyr Gibbs hater by any means. That line just seems high for what I expect could be a lower scoring game than we think it might be.
Don't let Jahmyr get loose. That's all I'm saying. Don't let him get loose, baby.
For my player prop, see, this one was a little trickier for me because when I looked before we started recording this show, they did not have player props for all the games up yet. Yep. So there was a couple that I would have been interested otherwise if I actually had the official line, but I did see one that did intrigue me, and that was Cam Scattaboo over 83 rushing plus receiving yards. I think that they are going to, they're going to lean on their running game more to try and take pressure off their rookie quarterback. 2, Tyrone Tracy is out of this game, so Scattaboo is going to be the bell cow. And 3, I feel like Jaxson Dart's just going to check the ball down frequently in this game. 1, because the offensive line is horrific, and 2, that's just what young quarterbacks do. So I think he's going to get plenty of opportunities, is what I'm saying here.
I couldn't agree more. Scatterboo might have 20 carries and another 8 receptions in this game.
Mm-hmm.
He might, outside of Malik, he might be the guy on that offense. I like that one. I like that one a lot.
And then lastly, rounded out, let's get this anytime touchdown right this week. I feel like we have not been
You're
close.
not gonna.
I thought
You're not gonna like
you had
mine.
it last week with Derrick Henry after he scored on the first drive. I was like, foregone. And then he had that. They had it at the goal line, and they gave it to him like 3 straight times.
I'm aware. You're gonna hate mine because this is a gamble. This is a we're riverboat gambling on this one. But he's back, baby. He's back in Kansas City. Give me Xavier Worthy to start this thing off right and get a tutty.
Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. Plus 160 for you, for those of you following at home. Love that. Love it. It's a risk. Mm-hmm.
That seems tragically low. Absurdly
you would think it'd be like
low.
plus 300-400, right?
Literally. And
nope. They know he's coming out swinging. He's going to catch a 75-yard right opening drive.
And he's definitely going to be on a pitch count, right? Like, I can't expect him playing more than 40% of snaps, offensive snaps in that game.
Calling it tutty. Coming.
I will go to the Dallas Cowboys and specifically George Pickens for a touchdown. Plus 135. CD is out. And I don't know. I have him in my Dynasty League too, so I really just hope he scores a touchdown.
I love it. For some reason, there's always at least one Cowboys receiver that is on the field and immune to Dak's poor play at times. So I love that. That's a great pick. Think about that. That's what, plus 130, 35, right?
135 against the Packers, whose secondary is a slight weakness. But I also feel like they're going to have to throw the ball a shit ton in this game.
Probably, but Xavier Worthy is only plus 160. Think about that. So listen, folks, if you're listening at home and you're trying to figure out which one of our anytimers to pick, take Pickens, please. That's same value, way safer.
I'll give you one chance to pick somebody else real fast.
No, I'm going with Worthy. I'm sticking with Worthy. I'm calling Worthy. He's getting a touchdown. I wish the odds were better. But I like it.
Okay. Well, that wraps up NFL for this episode. Let's switch gears over to college football. And the biggest news in college football, unfortunately, it's our dude, John Mateer, is going to be out for tentatively around a month due to thumb surgery. I believe it's on his throwing hand, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So, Herb, the games that he is potentially going to miss, I feel bad for Oklahoma because this is the meat and potatoes of their schedule right here. You have the Red River rivalry against Texas. Then you travel to South Carolina, who may or may not have Lenore Sellers back by then. You have a home game against Ole Miss, and then you visit Knoxville to take on Tennessee. That's 4 games in 5 weeks. They have a bye week between one of those games. I just don't remember which.
They don't have a bye week until the second week of November.
Okay, take it back. I could have sworn I saw that somewhere.
This is the hardest part of their schedule. I mean, luckily they're playing Kent State this weekend, so that the sophomore kid coming in, I apologize, I don't remember his name.
Michael
Hawkins, perfect, yep. Wonderful, thank you, Hawkins. So he's going to be able to get his toes wet against Kent State, which should be an easier game. He should be able to get real comfortable. But then you're going into Red River. Oh boy. I mean, Red River was going to be tough enough. It's a tough game regardless. Mateer's never played in it. So a little bit of a disadvantage. But now you really got a kid who's inexperienced going in there. Dude, you do, because they were flying high. Venables, there were questions about his job. All of a sudden they're going nuts this year. God, that was our guy. We've been on the John Mateer train since what? June?
Yeah, it's been a minute. That's for sure. But
It's just
let's say
heartbreaking.
he's able to get back for the Tennessee game, so he's out the next 4 games. You got to hope for 2-2, being able to pull out two wins here, and I believe you would still have a chance at the college football playoff. And that's if John Mateer comes back and they then go and beat Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, and LSU. Their schedule, we've been talking so much about Florida's difficult schedule. Oklahoma's is just as hard, if not harder.
Holy cow! Good luck, Sooners. Even if he comes back, it's going to take some time to adjust. They have to win 2 of those games for sure. So if you win at Kent State or against Kent State, if you can pull off the Red River win, I think you're good. Then the only game you're looking at losing is maybe the Ole Miss or Tennessee game. So there's a real world where over the next 5 games they go 4-1. It's going to be real dependent on that quarterback's ability to game manage for him. Problem is their offense is fully predicated on Mateer making something happen with his feet by getting out of the pocket or running it for 40 yards.
Luckily, this Michael Hawkins kid is also a dual threat as well. So it's not like they have to change the offense completely around him.
No. So listen, you beat Texas, like you're in a good spot. If you can go in and beat Texas.
I think the 2 games they're hoping to win are going to be that Kent State and South Carolina game. And then
the Kent State, they absolutely should. Even with it, they could start their true freshman quarterback and probably beat Kent State. Yeah. South Carolina, you have to win. Ole Miss, you're at home. You're at home against Ole Miss, so there's going to be some expectation that you're going to be a winner.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. It will be interesting. It's just tough break for Oklahoma.
He ain't win the Heisman this year.
I'm looking at this kid's stats from last season when he played. Not great. He played Texas last season, and he threw for 148 yards and had 27 carries for 27 yards.
Okay, well, there's that. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
They're going to have to find that run game because they haven't been able to find it yet.
Yep, without a doubt. But the one thing I did want to highlight here, though, shout out to John Mateer, though. He broke his thumb, I found out, in the first quarter of that game. He still proceeded to stay in the entire game, threw for 271 yards in the go-ahead 9-yard touchdown to put the game out of reach.
And you knowing that, you wonder, like, you think those conversations took place with him and the coaching staff and the trainers of, like, can I just not do it and just put up with it?
Dude, I just have to say, adrenaline is one hell of a drug.
Hell yeah.
Because
mom's lifting cars off of babies, man.
Like, if you are a quarterback, right, which finger do you think is the most important when gripping a football? It has to be the thumb or the index.
It's going to be your
finger,
thumb.
Right? Yeah.
It's your thumb, 100% it's your thumb.
Right. That's crazy. He was, like, flawless, too, after that injury. I think I saw. He, like, completed his last 11 straight passes or some shit like that.
Well, then put off the surgery and let him go out there and ball.
I wonder if he takes... I don't know if he has the ability to. I don't know where his eligibility is. I wonder if that opens the door, though, for him returning next year.
But in Oklahoma would probably be licking their chops like, thank God.
Yeah, I just don't know if he has... Yeah, he's a junior.
I think he's... Okay, all right. That works. So a little bit of hope for the Sooner faithful there, huh?
Just potentially. Just might be. Okay, we talked about this over text, but this had to have been one of the funniest stories.
This fucking shit.
Was the picture that started circulating on social media this week announcing that Lane Kiffin's daughter, Landry, is dating LSU captain Whit Weeks. And to that, Lane Kiffin replied on Twitter to that picture, "Take the over," is all he said.
Was that real? Was that real? Was that verified?
Yes.
Take the over.
Dude, Lane Kiffin is hands down the funniest coach. Dude, I love Lane Kiffin. He owns who he is, I will say.
Real quick, though, with this whole story, did you see what she posted yesterday?
No.
She posted on TikTok a video of her getting in her car at 2 a.m. and driving 5 hours from Oxford to Baton Rouge to go up to Whit Weeks' house and, like, she brought breakfast.
Oh, no.
Like, they are leaning into this so hard.
You're
So
also
hard.
telling me Daddy couldn't lend the private jet to get her down there?
Do you know how much money he would lose in recruiting if he used the team jet to go down there? Are you kidding? You imagine he flies his daughter down to Baton Rouge to go see one of their linebackers, and that linebacker ends up having a career game against you. No chance. You're fired immediately.
Well, don't worry. Whit Weeks, I think, made a business decision last week. For those unaware, he was ejected from that game for targeting. So he will actually miss the first half of this game against his potential future father-in-law. Potentially on purpose? Who knows? Some people are asking, though.
Real quick, are you familiar with Whit Weeks' game?
No, not in the slightest.
He hasn't done shit this year. Hasn't done a fucking thing. He has half a sack and 8 tackles. And this dude is pulling Lane Kiffin's daughter. The bar is so low. The bar is so low.
Who are we to speak on where the bar is?
I'm going to speak on it. At least get a guy who's leading his team in sacks or something, for God's sakes.
You would have been completely fine with her dating Nussmeier, but God forbid she dates the captain of the defense.
He's a captain?
Yes.
And he's only got eight tackles on the year?
Brother, I don't know the background. If that's what you're saying, sure.
This kid couldn't survive on a defense like Michigan. I'm going to throw that out there right now. Kid wouldn't even be seeing the field. 8 tackles. I'm driving 5 hours to go see my boyfriend who's got 8 tackles. Sick. I'll give it to him because he had like 120 tackles last year, so I'll give him credit there for last year.
I also hope you know you're probably missing something so obvious, but since you don't follow LSU closely enough, you're not aware of it
Correct.
To what is affecting this. And there's probably a big reason why.
Probably.
No reason. Because I would have to imagine you get named the captain of LSU on defense, you're probably pretty fucking good at football.
Well, let's be honest. The real captain on that defense wears number 7. And seeing as Whit Weeks wears 40, I'm going to go ahead and give the nod to Harold Perkins Jr. as the best player on that team.
I don't think
because he gets to rock the 7.
Player, but Whit Weeks is the best leader. He's the leader of men.
Leader of men. There it is. A leader of men and leading Lane Kiffin's daughter to the promised land.
He was also a preseason All-American pick, so I think.
Yeah, he did very well last year. I'm just giving him shit now because he's only at 8 tackles.
Because he's piping Lane Kiffin's daughter? You're just jealous.
Wow. I don't know that. At my age, I'm not sure that I'm jealous that he's in an intimate relationship with a 20-year-old. I'm good on that.
I know you like him young.
That's, again.
You like him frisky.
Jesus, this isn't a meme. Okay, this is my life here. Okay, sex offender registry. He likes him young. This is ridiculous.
Sorry.
This is ridiculous.
Young enough where your mind control games can still work on them. Make them your little puppet.
That is never happened. What are you doing to me right now? Let's stop this. Hey, look. Let's talk about football. Jesus.
Okay. We'll make sure next week's episode, or at least one of these episodes upcoming, we'll do a Don't Quote Us Sports matchmaking, and we'll just find a bunch of chicks that are super into sports, and we'll get them to like jump onto the pod, and we could do like a speed round, speed dating for like 2 minutes, and they just have to give you like their hottest sports take ever, and potentially you find true love. That could be a play. That content machine right there. Yeah.
That content will never happen.
Why do you always have to be such a fucking Debbie Downer?
I'm not using this podcast to advance my love life in any way. If anything, it is probably deterring women. So what do you do in your free time? Oh, me and my buddy have a podcast. Oh, you're 32 with a podcast? I'm going to go home now.
Yeah, I still have not gotten to the point where I have subtly like dropped that into a conversation, been like, yeah, I have a podcast, because I don't want to have that conversation.
Listen, don't get us wrong. I enjoy doing this. I'm having a blast. I'm proud of everything we've accomplished.
I just know the judgment that we would get the second you'd be like, yeah.
I don't bring it up in casual conversation.
Do a podcast twice a week for a couple hours. We get about 5 listeners. It's pretty sick.
Hey, shout out to our 5 listeners, though. The homies.
They're consistent. I love it. But Herb, the game that we need to talk about, I can feel it in my fucking balls.
Feel it in my
plums.
The
excitement I have in my palms. I can feel it. The game of games. We hope. A rematch of last season's Big Ten championship game. And what better place for this game to be taking place than in Happy Valley at night for whiteout. Oregon, Penn State, battle of top 6 teams, 3 and 6, I believe. Sorry, I got ahead of myself right there. But I think this is going to be the game that officially introduces Oregon to what Big Ten football truly is.
I want to hear your full understanding of this game before I give my comments. I want to hear why you are apparently leaning Penn State on this one. That's what it feels like.
No, you completely misconstrued. I just love the environment that we are going to see in Happy Valley.
I gotcha.
You have to remember that James Franklin is still the head coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions. And you want to know why that gives me pause when it comes to predicting anything other than an Oregon win? If we take a look at James Franklin's career coaching at Penn State, you just want to take a wild guess. I guess I can't really have you take wild guesses since you're looking at the notes that I put together for this episode. But let me tell you what his record against, let me tell the listeners what his record against top 10 opponents are while coaching the Nittany Lions. It is 4-20. Which, or if you can't do the quick math in your head, don't worry, I've done it already. That is a 16% win percentage.
Yeah.
And I am by no means saying that it is easy to win top 10 games as a college football coach, but do you want to hear some other coaches' record against top 10 teams to put it into perspective?
Hit me. There's going to be some egregious names on this list.
There'll be a couple on there, that's for sure. I'll start at the top because I feel like that makes the most sense. Kalen DeBoer is actually 15-3. Oh wait, this is top 25. Sorry.
Jeez.
That is mean of me.
We're going to have to fire our producer, huh?
Yep, top 10 teams. Now we're ready. Kalen DeBoer, 5-1 against top 10 teams. Kirby Smart, 24-10. Ryan Day, 14-8.
Mm-hmm.
Dabo Swinney, 19-15.
Your boy.
Dan Lanning, he hasn't been around too long, but he's still 4-4 in these types of games.
Mm-hmm.
James Franklin finds himself in a category of where he finds company with Lane Kiffin, who is 4-15, Steve Sarkisian, who is 5-17, and Brian Kelly, 7-20. And you know what the primary difference between those three other coaches that I named and James Franklin are, Herb?
They coach in the SEC?
No, those three coaches have not consistently been the head coach of a team that has consistently, over the course of the last 5+ years, been ranked anywhere in the top 10. Penn State has been considered an upper echelon team in recent memory. He should be in the category of Ryan Day. When we think Big Ten coaches, right?
Yep.
It's a short list. We're talking Ryan Day, Dan Lanning, I would put up there at this point. But then James Franklin has to be right there. And the fact that he cannot find a way to win these games, it has to come to a head at some point, in my opinion. How many years in a row have we been Penn State's good, but they just can't win the big game?
Every single year. Every single year. Here's an even breaking down that statistic on his record against top 10. Do you know what he is top 10 at home with Penn State? What his record is?
No, I haven't gotten that deep.
1-7. He has one top 10 win at home for the Nittany Lions. Every single year we talk about this. James Franklin's really, really lucky this year, though, because you're getting your big game out of the way early, right? And so if they can pull this off, it should be smooth sailing for the most part. I don't think they're pulling this off. I think we are going to see James Franklin. I think we're going to see Penn State. We all know what's going to happen. It just feels like it's going to happen again. I don't want to go against history on this one. I like James Franklin. You just can't win big games, and this is the biggest game. The biggest game. At home, under the lights, in a whiteout. The biggest game. You're going to drop it.
See, the way you were setting that up with setting the stage with it being early in the season was that people would kind of forget about it by the time the end of the season rolled around because it happened so early.
People don't forget. Okay? 1-7 at home against top 10 teams. Most coaches will be fired for that.
Yeah, those would be the games you're gonna have the best chance to win. I'm not gonna say you should win every single top 10 game at home, but you definitely shouldn't be 1-7 in those games either.
No.
But a couple things here. It reminds me like the mindset that you have with Penn State in these type of matchups is, I would say, is very similar to how Twins felt when playing the New York Yankees in the playoffs in the 2000s to 2010s. It didn't matter how good that Yankees team was or how good the Twins were. We just assumed we were going to lose those games. I think at one point we had lost 15+ straight postseason games to the New York Yankees. It was something absurd like that.
What an obscure reference.
How I feel. Sorry, it's very niche with being a Twins fan. But But it's just like one of those
Uh,
things. It's just like a mentality type of thing, though. Like, and I think it's something that starts with the coach and gets pushed down to the players, where it's almost like they don't feel like they're going to win the game leading up into the game, and then it just goes downhill from there. You know,
yeah, I just every year we're different. We're different. We're different. Penn State, we're different this year. It's a different team. We've got a winner mentality. It's different. It's not different. It's just not. It just I'm frustrated. Like as a Big Ten fan, I know it's going to be a good game. I'm just frustrated by what Penn State has the potential to be, and they just refuse to get out of their own way. And I think Dan Lanning is one of, if not the best coach in the country. You know, this isn't Ohio
but
State coming in. It's not Michigan coming in. This is Oregon. This is a big fucking deal.
to continue piling on the Nittany Lions, they have not been beaten a Power Four top 10 team in 966 days. Last win was against Utah, January 2nd, 2023. They haven't been a top 10 Big Ten team in 3,217 days, which was number 6 Wisconsin at home, December 6th, 2016.
Huh? That's a
Yeah.
real stat?
Yeah.
Um,
But
I'm putting all my money on Oregon.
the one thing that I will dangle out in front of Penn State fans, though, is the difference between this year and in past years is the dude that is in charge of that defense. He goes by a name of Jim Knowles. And or I want to take a trip down memory lane, if you will. Uh, Last time Jim Knowles went up or faced a Dan Lanning team in Oregon was just last season in the college football playoff when he was the defensive coordinator of the Ohio State Buckeyes. And I don't know how vividly you remember that game, but that was a belt to ass game. The Ohio State Buckeyes absolutely trounced the Ducks. The Ducks finished that game with minus 23 rushing yards in that game. So if there is any way that Penn State does pull this game out, it's going to be because of this defense and it's going to be because of Jim Knowles. Because I will be completely honest with you, I do not understand the hype that Drew Allard gets as the Penn State quarterback. I feel like all we've done over the course of the last 3+ years is just talk about potential, potential, potential. Like this kid he's a prototypical NFL quarterback, 6'5", 230. Everybody would love to have him. But then you see him on the field and he just
Mm-hmm.
screams game manager to me. Like he is not what is differentiating your team and taking you to that next level. And I honestly wonder by the time the end of the season comes around, if there's not honest conversations, at least with Penn State fans, as to whether or not they picked the right quarterback. Because Prabula, I probably butchered that.
Close. Prabula.
Their
Beulah.
who was their backup last year, who transferred to Missouri, has been absolutely lighting it up for Missouri and has them now in the top 25. And he provides a whole shit ton more with his legs compared to Aller. So he just adds another dimension to that offense.
Yeah. Drew Aller is a good quarterback, I think. He is going to be in the conversation for the number 1 overall pick.
And you know what I say to that? I will stake my flag in the ground right now. Whatever team, if he gets drafted in the top 10, that team is going to regret that pick. I promise you that.
Wow, bold take. Don't quote us on that one. Maybe. I don't know.
Somebody bookmarked it, though.
I see the moments of he's just a really good game manager. We are waiting for him to absolutely take over a game. This is going to be the real test of that. If he can come out and absolutely take over where the entire offense runs through him, we don't have to worry about running the ball very much because Drew is just on one today, then that solidifies a lot of things for a lot of NFL GMs. If not, I'm going to be honest with you, I think this is going to be one of those quarterback games where that's who we're all watching as the two quarterbacks. And don't quote me, but Dante Moore, I think, is going to come out as the better quarterback. I've said it already. I think by the end of the year, we're going to be talking about him as the number one quarterback in next year's draft class. I think this is the game where we're going to see it.
Mm-hmm. You want to hear what Drew... Oh, my God. This is actually horrible. You want to hear what his stats are against top 25 teams during his career at Penn State?
Can't be good.
So he's 5-7, but I would argue they are winning these games in spite of him rather than because of him, because he, in 12 games, he has thrown for 1,700 yards, 14 touchdowns, 5 picks, and completes just over 53% of his throws. And this is the dude that we are talking about as a potential number one overall pick? In what fucking world?
It's the measurables. It's the 6'5", 220 some odd pounds. It's the big arm. It's, like you said, all potential. We got to see something because their schedule doesn't get a lot easier, man. It just doesn't. This is probably the second biggest game on the schedule. First weekend in November, they play Ohio State at the Horseshoe. That's the biggest game. But we got to see something out of Drew Lair. We have to see something out of him for me to consider him, like, outright. He's the number one guy. Not if he's playing with stats like that.
But I don't know about you, but it feels like this game could be decided in the first quarter. And I'm not saying it would be like 21-0 Oregon, but what I'm saying is I feel like based off the flow of that game, I will know immediately who will end up winning that game. If Penn State's defense can come in there and stifle this offense and keep that crowd in the game, I think Penn State can squeak it out at the end. But if Oregon comes in there quick and scores some points early and takes that crowd out of the game quick, I don't think Penn State has a chance, is what I'm meaning.
Yeah, and I don't know if you watched the Oregon game last week. They started slow. Not super slow, but slower than I anticipated. Penn State usually takes a little bit to get going. I think the first half is going to be slower than we think. If we're going to see fireworks, I think this game is going to be a tight one again, tighter. I don't know. I don't think you have to win the first quarter in this game. But if Oregon does come out and takes the air out of that stadium, yeah, it's over. So
and
it's going to be fun.
It is worth mentioning too that this is. I know Dante Moore. He played as a freshman at UCLA, but I don't think he's. I'd have to go back and look at his record, but I don't think he's ever played in an environment like Happy Valley at night.
I'm trying to think last year. You might be right. I don't think.
Didn't play last year. He was backup for Gabriel last season.
Yep.
It was 2023 UCLA. He played at Utah. That was probably his toughest road game.
At Penn State at night.
At Oregon State. Yeah, this is a completely different beast.
But I feel like everything we've seen out of Dante Moore to this point, which admittedly is not a crazy amount, I don't know if he can be rattled. We're going to find out. I think he is calm, cool, and collected. I think that's a testament to the coaching and Dan Lanning on how Oregon operates. If they can run the ball like they have been doing, Dante Moore is only going to do better if their run game is successful. God, I hope he has a game.
Yeah, I
hope he has a game.
Yeah, see, that's what I was going to say, because that's where it's going to be interesting if Penn State can make Oregon one-dimensional and force Dante Moore into beating him with his arm. Because they've been an extremely balanced team thus far. Their rushing attack has been extremely explosive. Again, have not played anybody of note as of yet, but they are averaging, I think it was 9 yards per carry coming into this game. If they're able to get
Yeah.
if they're able to get into second and manageable, third and short, it's going to put Dante Moore in a prime position to succeed. But if Penn State can get him behind the sticks and force him to throw the ball, that's where I think the game could be won.
Dude, they have a 4-headed monster back there running back. 2 of them are freshmen. One of their freshmen has 6 touchdowns. 6 touchdowns. And he's the number 4 guy. Good luck, Penn State. You're going to need it, I think.
So it sounds like you are big on Oregon here. Would you take them with the spread? I think the spread last time I checked was Oregon -5.5.
Let's take a look. Hang tight with me. Party with me. Rock with me. Oregon is +3.5. Over-unders at 52.5. Because I do think it's going to be a little slower to start, Oregon's +3.5. Give me that all day.
No fucking way.
Hey, you get 3 points for being at home, remember?
Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. Give me Oregon +3.5. That again, because I think it's going to start a little slower. That over scares me a little bit, but it wouldn't shock me when that over does hit. What about you?
Sorry, I have to go fact check it because that seems fucking crazy.
I'm on FanDuel right now. Oregon +3.5.
Wow. Oh my god.
If you and listen, we both know that Dan Lanning is a locker room guy, or locker room, like the news bulletin board guy. If you don't think that he told all those guys they don't think you can beat them by 3 or stay within 3, Oregon's going to come out for blood.
Dude, let's tease it up. Oregon -2.5 +158.
Ooh, I like that a lot.
I do too.
That might be a hammer, huh?
Okay, that's our play.
Lock it in, folks. There. Lock it in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oregon is 3-1 against. Hold on. Oregon is 3-1 against the spread this year. Penn State is 0-3 against the spread.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they got hooked twice earlier in this season, right at the end of the game.
Was it? Oh, it was that Nova game, right? It was really definitely one of them.
The Villanova game was the other one. But yeah, gonna be a real fun weekend in college football for sure. We're not gonna talk about them here, but USC, Illinois, we'll just run through. Herb, how about just who you take to win each of these games? How's that sound?
It's at Illinois.
Yep. USC travels to Illinois.
I'm gonna take SC. And it's not so much knock on Illinois, even though they got their gut punched last week. I think Jordan Mailata, the quarterback for USC, is sneaky. You brought him to my attention, so thanks for that. Give me USC on a sneaky little run towards the Big Ten title.
Okay. Ohio State travels to Washington to take on the undefeated Huskies.
Yeah, I don't care that they're undefeated. It's Ohio State. Ohio State is a clear front runner for a reason. The number 1 in the country. Ohio State in a decent game.
Okay. LSU travels to Oxford to take on Ole Miss, who will be starting their backup quarterback Trinidad Chambliss for the third straight
Give
week.
me, give me Trinidad. Give me Lane Kiffin. Give me the over, baby. Ole Miss all day.
And you know why we say that? Because
Why?
Brian Kelly is not the coach of a championship team.
You can't trust a
Plus,
Brian Kelly
I,
team, plain and simple.
plus we have talked so highly of Trinidad Chambliss at this point. I am so bought in at this point. I am
We
starting to
have to
sprinkle
be.
money on his Heisman.
Have to
I have
be.
started sprinkling on the Heisman. I don't think he loses that job, even when Simmons comes back.
We'll see. We'll see on that. But for this weekend, I like.
If Trinidad wins this game, there's no way Austin Simmons is getting his job back.
Let's
Against
see how
number
the
4
weekend.
LSU, no shot.
Let's see how the weekend goes, and then we will reconvene on Monday, and we will figure that out from there. Because I think it's all Rebels all day.
Okay, so if that's the case, just go ahead and sprinkle some cash on Trinidad Chambliss Heisman before this weekend because
Wow!
his odds will skyrocket if they win this game. Because
Wow!
they will skyrocket if they win this game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You
And it
beat the
is
number 4
wide
team in
open
the
now
country.
with Mateer being out.
That helped Mendoza. That helped Mendoza
Okay,
huge.
sorry to get off track there. Auburn goes to College Station to take on Texas A&M.
The one time you're going to hear me take A&M just because Auburn's offense looked rough for most of that Oklahoma game. Jackson Arnold did not look good. Give me the Aggies.
I already know what you'll say to this game, so tell me if you would take the spread on it. Indiana travels to Iowa City to take on the Hawkeyes. Line is
What's this?
Indiana 8.5.
Oh, I had heard it was way up to like 13.5 at one point. I'd heard a rumor about that. Iowa fans, I don't know if you've heard the chatter, but I certainly have heard it nonstop that Gronowski's healthy and we finally unlocked the beast and we figured it out. Give me Indiana minus 10.5.
Okay, like it. And then the last major game, Alabama travels to Athens to take on the Georgia Bulldogs.
It's all going to be
Line of
dependent
that
on
one,
which.
surprisingly, is only -2.5.
It all depends on which Bama team shows up. Safe bet is Georgia at Georgia. I'll take Georgia. But if the right Alabama team shows up, that might be a shocker game.
I just remember vividly the last road game that Ty Simpson started at night, which was last season against USF, and he played horrifically. And Herb, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Athens, Georgia is a much more difficult place to play than USF is. So
Allegedly.
I
Allegedly.
so I think Georgia is going to crush them in this game. I'm hammering -2.5.
It would not surprise me if
I
they
just had
did.
to I put that on the record.
Fair enough.
But then Herb, that wraps up college football, and I want to get into what I actually might be most excited about right now because I've been all football as of recently, and I've kind of put baseball on the back burner. So I've finally kind of gone back up to speed as to where we stand currently. So there's 4 games left in the regular season, and there is still a shit ton to be decided. Do you want me to break down some of these races that we are going to be watching these
Yeah, I think
last
there's
4 days?
probably the two big ones, right?
There's more than you would think for having only 4 games left. So in the
All right, hit me.
AL, 3 teams have punched their tickets, but no seed has been finalized yet. The Yankees and Blue Jays are currently tied for first in the AL East at 90 and 68. Yankees currently hold that tiebreaker right now. Guardians officially surpassed the Tigers for first in the AL Central. They have a 1-game lead. And then that brings us to the AL wild card. So the Tigers now officially hold the third wild card spot over the Houston Astros by 1 game. Whether or not they can hold on, we will find out. And then in the NL, most of the tickets have been punched already. Brewers, Phillies, Dodgers, Cubs, Padres all officially in. NL West is still up for grabs. Dodgers lead by 2 games over the Padres right now, so it would probably take a collapse from the Padres to overtake. But then the race that I think a lot of people are going to be watching is the Mets trying to hold on for the final wild card spot. They have the lead currently by 1 game over the Reds, but the Mets, if you have not been following, has been an absolute dumpster fire since the beginning of August. 19 and 30, 5th worst record in the majors, and they have a record payroll over there. So if they don't make the playoffs, there's going to be a lot of very animated conversations that are occurring out there in the Big Apple. But
Yep.
Herb, out of those races, which one, I'd say not multiple, which one are you most interested in?
Yeah, so for me, like the Mets one's super interesting, but I think that's because of me being a Cubs fan and we've kind of really screwed them over, beating them up this series. We got beat up by the Reds last series, so I'm sure the Mets fans hate the Cubs right now. But the one that I'm like really invested in is the one that we talked about last time, the AL Central, Guardians against Tigers. Are the Tigers about to fall out? Did we curse the Tigers? Are they about to fall out of this race?
They are picking the worst time of the year to play their worst baseball. That's for sure.
I mean, talk about you get the A's and the Angels as your last 2 series. You should be licking your chops, and they're falling apart. So even if they do make the playoffs, you are in a terrible slide right now. And I think as baseball fans, we can all agree, please do not let the Astros back in the playoffs.
Be the first time they miss since 2016.
Good. They were banging on cans back then. Bunch of nerds.
But then real quick, Herb, I will run through what the projected matchups would be if the season ended today. And just tell me, because there's a couple of good ones, which ones you would be most excited for. You got Detroit taking on Cleveland in a 6 versus 3. Boston taking on New York, 5 versus 4. Mets taking on the Dodgers, 3 versus 6. And then the Cubs taking on the Padres, 4 versus 5. Those are 4 really good series.
I don't want Yankees Red Sox off the jump, though. I want that as close to the series as we can get it, because I am a firm believer that that is one of the greatest rivalries in sports, and it is in dire need of a reignition of hate between those 2 franchises. I want to see them deeper, but if they have to play in the first round, that's the series I'm watching. Because in my opinion, there's no greater rivalry in baseball. It is way up there in overall sport between the Red Sox and Yankees. I love that series. I love the history behind it. I hope this restarts it.
Yeah, I am hard-pressed to pick any other matchup other than the Dodgers against the Mets if that was to happen, because you have the 2 teams with the 2 highest payrolls. So there is going to be a lot of questions asked of whatever team ends up losing that series. And to be honest, whatever team does win that series, they're going to have probably the toughest path to the World Series, because whoever wins that series would then have to play the Brewers, and then whoever comes out of the other side of the NL bracket just to get to the World Series. Not envious of that path by any means.
I'm giving us a hot take right now. The Tigers are not going to make the wild card. The Tigers are going to fall apart.
Yeah.
We curse the Tigers. I'm calling that right now. We curse the Tigers.
Are you saying that because you looked at the scores and they're losing right now?
No, I didn't look at the current scores. I'm just throwing that out there right now. The Tigers, and maybe your hat is a little foretelling for this evening.
They're actually up right now.
I'm calling it right now.
They won 4-2, so they are officially tied again.
With 3 games against, and I apologize, I said it wrong earlier. They got 3 games against the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting for seeding. It's not easy. It's in Boston. Tigers are falling out of this thing, man. Tigers are falling out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. That'll be for sure one of the biggest collapses in MLB history at that rate. But what I really wanted to talk about baseball-wise, because it's going to be the point of conversation here soon. Or it already is, really, when we think about it. But the AL MVP debate. And I want to see where your thoughts are right now. Because there's some people that think this is a slam dunk one way or the other. And I'm curious how close you think the gap really is. And obviously the 2 players that we're talking about here are Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh. I'll run through the big numbers with you real quick, and then we can kind of jump into it. But Aaron Judge on the season has a .328 batting average, 51 home runs, 109 runs batted in, an OPS of 1.136, OPS plus of 213. I threw in stolen bases and fielding run value for perspective. Stolen bases, he has 12, and fielding run value has 4. He has 9.3 WAR on the season, and he played 148 games. And I do want to point out 91 of those games were in right field. The rest of those were at DH, so 57 games at DH. Whereas Cal Raleigh, he had a batting average of .248 with 60 home runs now, 125 runs batted in, an OPS of .959, OPS plus of 172, stolen bases 14, fielding run value 7, and he accumulated a WAR of 7.2, and that was in 155 games, 120 of which were at catcher, which led the MLB, and then the remaining 35 were at DH.
For me, as hitters, they are both right here, right? They are neck and neck. They are tight. For me, where the difference comes down to is I think what Cal Raleigh does behind the plate for the Mariners is almost invaluable. They are a better team when he's behind the plate. He has command of the field. What he does at catcher, I think, is going to be the difference. Not saying that what Aaron Judge does in right field, but you just said it. He's almost played 50% of his games, damn near, 30, 40% of his games at DH, which he's an incredible hitter. I get it. But when it comes down to it with batting stats so similar, I'm giving the nod to Big Dumper because of what he does behind the plate. It's tight, though. I don't understand the people who are like, it's one way or the other, absolute black and white. I don't see it that way. I think this is a really, really fun race. Also, Cal Raleigh is an electric player for Seattle. Hitting 60, and then he drops the major league line. Just go win the whole fucking thing.
I don't think you'll ever see a better moment than last night's game, in which he comes up to bat after hitting home run 59, and the crowd is chanting MVP, MVP, and then he proceeds to take the first pitch deep for home run number 60. That is storybook right there.
There's something poetic about baseball, isn't there?
Yeah. For perspective, on FanDuel right now, Cal Raleigh is actually favored minus 210, way higher than I thought. And then Aaron Judge is plus 155. My perspective on it is, I will be completely honest. Aaron Judge, in my opinion, had a better offensive season. If we're talking just from a power perspective, Cal Raleigh obviously did. He hit home runs, right? But from an all-around offensive perspective, Aaron Judge was by and far the better player. But with that being said, I also think that this is one of those unique circumstances where we've just never seen this happen before. We've never seen a catcher do what Cal Raleigh is doing. And I feel like that has to count for something. Not to say that what Aaron Judge has done this season isn't impressive, but let's be honest, would be maybe his second or third best year of his career. It's not even a career year for him, to be honest. And I know the bar for him is so high that can be kind of difficult to top at this point, but I think you just have to respect the rarity of what we are seeing from Cal Raleigh. And I think it's one thing for a catcher to hit 60 home runs, but have them really only playing closer to catching half those games, right? And DHing for the other half of it. No, Cal Raleigh was primarily the catcher and was damn good at it too. So,
can I throw this into perspective for you on that matter real quick?
Yeah.
So Buster Posey is probably the last great catcher that we got to see play baseball. He won MVP 13 years ago, had 24 home runs, 103 RBIs, and had a lower OPS than Cal Raleigh. So, and that was an incredible season. That was an absolute nut season. So take that into consideration as well.
Yeah. I just, even though the odds are saying what they are, I feel like there's going to be a lot closer than we think. And I would not be surprised in the slightest if Judge won. I do think the one thing that is on Raleigh's side is there just might be voter fatigue at the same time, because Aaron Judge has won 3 MVPs already. And you saw it happen in the NBA just this season. I think Jokic should have won it with what he was doing, but I think they got voter fatigue. So SGA, while deservedly won it, I think there was a very valid argument for Jokic, and I think the same thing can be said here.
Absolutely. And to be honest, whoever they give it to, I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm not going to sit here and throw a pissy fit about it. I think both guys are deserving, but for me, it's what Cal does behind the plate.
Yeah, and I don't think either of these two care. They're more worried about what is going to happen in October.
Yeah,
because Aaron Judge has some demons to tackle in October. If he wants to be talked about as one of the all-time Yankees, and Cal Raleigh just really hasn't had the opportunity as of yet to show what he has on the big stage. So that's going to be exciting from a Mariners perspective. Plus, you just have the storyline. He just led them to their first division title since 2001. I just love everything about Seattle right now.
Yep, I get it. I get it. Hey, let me say this real quick. October baseball is looming. Truthfully, I don't know for me if they're maybe March Madness, maybe the World Cup, but the World Series is way, way up there for me. We've talked about it, I believe, on here. We've talked about it offline. October baseball is just so much fun. I'm excited for this playoff. It's going to be fun, and it's still go Cubs go, baby.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like, at least in the early rounds of the MLB playoffs, is they literally have them in like the middle of the day, like playoff games. They'll have the first set of games. They'll have one start at noon.
Yeah, hey, we got TV time slots and ad spaces to sell, brother.
I'm just talking about from the fan experience. I feel like it is a lot harder to get that home field advantage per se when you're playing a game at noon on a Friday or a Thursday.
Hey, what's better than sitting in the office on a Thursday at 2:10 in the afternoon catching a playoff baseball game while you're sitting there doing your accounting, huh? Nothing better. Nothing better.
But So that's baseball. So a bunch of fun stuff to keep track of here over the course of the next couple of days. We'll break it down a little bit more on our next episode once everything has been finalized. But lastly, before we jump into shout-outs, just quickly regarding the Ryder Cup, because they did announce tomorrow morning's matchups for foursomes. So
I haven't seen them yet.
I will speed run these and let me know which one you're most excited for. And also, as we go through them, you can just tell me who you think is going to win, or if
I'm locked
it's
in,
a
baby.
tie. Match 1, Bryson DeChambeau and Justin Thomas take on John Rahm and Tyrell Hayton.
Give me the Americans.
Okay. Match 2, Scotty Scheffler and Russell Henley versus Ludwig Aberg and Matt Fitzpatrick.
Ooh. That one will probably push.
Okay. Match 3, Colin Morikawa and Harris English versus Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood.
Oh, hey, listen, I like Morikawa. Don't get me wrong. But you're going against Tommy and Rory? I mean, that one's a given. That's Europe's.
Yeah, that one's probably the biggest mismatch of the four. And then lastly, you have Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay versus Robert McIntyre and Victor Hovland. They tee off at 8 a.m. Eastern. They may not finish before dinner time.
Oh. Give me the Americans to win the day tomorrow. The Americans to win that last one.
Well, that's just the first set of them. So that's 4 points right there.
All right. That session. I'll take that.
So you think like 2-1, 2-0?
2-1. 2-1.
Okay. And then yet to see I don't know when they're announcing the afternoon 4-ball, but which one of those matchups are you most excited for, though? The pairings. I will say I am pretty upset they did not match up Bryson DeChambeau and Rory after their little tiff in the media this week.
No, they want to. That's the matchup that really, really is exciting. The most fun pairing, I think, is going to be Rory and Fleetwood. But Rahm against DeChambeau, I think that has potential to be fireworks. Just two big sticks. Best on best. Let's go see what we got here. I really, really like that. That'll be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, that was probably my toughest one, just because Justin Thomas has been playing better as of recently, and he always shows up for the Ryder Cup. He's always been one of our best performers in the last couple of seasons. But Europe came out and absolutely blitzed the U.S. In Rome. They won the morning session 4-0, and that kind of set the tone for the rest of the weekend. So as long as it's not that, I think the U.S. will be in a good spot.
I like the U.S. this year in a big way.
Yep. And I think my dark horse for this week is actually going to be Russell Henley. I think he's going to perform quite well.
All right, I like the pick.
Don't really have the rationale to back it up, but he's now up to the number 3 rating in the world, and he's just been playing some very good golf. Plus, while it is difficult to say anything bad about Scotty Scheffler at this point, if there's one thing he has not been good at in his career thus far, it is playing in the Ryder Cup, where he has an 0-2-2 record as of right now. But that is the Ryder's Cup. But with that being said, thank you everybody for listening. Make sure to leave a like, comment, follow, subscribe. Tell somebody you know to give us a listen. Make sure to interact with us in our comments or DMs. Love to get you guys involved as much as we can. And we will catch you on the next episode. Peace.